in the past. Mr. Paul says the action will continue and could even escalate if the concerns of air traffic controllers are not addressed.
At this point in time, we have a situation where, again, people are fatigued, people are tired, people have all sorts of ailments coming that the management is aware of, and they're off the job. And I sympathize with them. And for me, if it needs to escalate from a situation where they're not sick to an industrial accident situation, I will support them in that, because we cannot and will not continue to have persons suffer because of the inadequacies of a management team.
And Mr. Paul says there are other workers at the airport whose matters also need addressing.
For years, we are trying to get the situation with the cargo sheds addressed, and those persons out there working in something that could be described as squalor conditions. And everybody knows this, but we do not see the staff assigned to cargo very often, so out of sight becomes out of mind. But those persons are also working like air traffic control in ridiculous conditions. And we have Gaia Inc. who's aware of this, and we cannot get simple commitments honored in terms of bringing some form of relief to persons.
Well, hundreds of young Barbadians took over Bridgetown, albeit temporarily, for a parade to draw the public's attention to the important role education plays in personal and national development. It also celebrated the achievements of the various educational institutions on the island. Eager youngsters from nursery, primary and secondary schools, along with their counterparts from private institutions, marched from the starting point in Queen's Park through the historic city and back to the park. Also in the parade were members of the Boy Scouts, Girl Guides and Cadet Corps. Minister of Education Ronald Jones assured that no child will be left behind.
Our young people are excellent young people. Some run into some difficulties, but we will never abandon them. We bring all to the center. It's like the sheep that go astray. What you do is you collect those that are nearby and you sure they don't go astray. But those that go astray, you go after and you bring them back to the fore. That is our journey. That is our commitment. You must be part of that journey. You must be part of that commitment.
Meanwhile, a St. Lucian education delegation is on the island to learn from this country firsthand on special needs education, among other areas. And leading that delegation is Minister of Education Dr. Robert Lewis. He says Barbados was chosen not only because of its proximity, but of the strides made.
It's been a very good tour. 3 objectives. One, to see the arrangements in terms of special needs education in Barbados. Also to sensitize our permanent secretary of the Ministry of Planning and Development towards special education, because I think the government of St. Lucia needs to move in the direction to make better preparations for students with special needs in our country. And the third thing, which would be for CDB itself to be in a position where when we come to them for funding for our special education program, they would already be more amenable to it.
The Minister of Education here in Barbados, Ronald Jones, says that the country has sought to ensure that all of its children are catered for in an educational or training environment. He says some retrofitting work was undertaken to ensure access.
So we've done a bit of retro. Not all schools currently can do that because some schools are older structures. But you find where new structures have been constructed, that is incorporated. Access is incorporated into those structures. So we would have had some students from 1st to 5th going to St. James, Garrison Secondary, Combermere, particularly the persons with sight issues. We've had some students going even to tertiary level institutions like the Barbados Community College and also to UWI.
Oh, well, a strange order forced the closure of Combermere School today. The school has been affected in the recent past by orders which caused the student body to be relocated to the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic last term. However, ministry officials today said that the scent appeared to have originated from some trees that workmen from the Ministry of Transport and Works were cutting down near the school.
I was in my classroom, then the teacher asked if we had any problems, if we smelled anything, but we said no, and then when we came outside, going to our next class, a teacher just grabbed us and told us, she just asked us where we were going. Then she told us we shouldn't go there. And then we smelled it. But it smelled like, you know, a certain way, something disgusting.
Consultations have been held with numerous stakeholders as Barbados reviews its current health financing model. Minister of Health John Boyce says that a number of substantive models have been proposed and the public will soon have their say.
What we are hoping to accomplish through our consultations with stakeholders and the public of Barbados is sustainability in healthcare. Is therefore in keeping
Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Dexter James, says the QEH has managed to save millions annually for surgeries. These procedures, he says, also result in less pain for patients and lower infection rates. He says the QEH continues to endorse such techniques, with the board investing in the acquisition of a new endoscopic suite.
Through the use of laparoscopic techniques, we have been able to return patients to work and have them resume normal life much earlier. Somewhere within 7 to 10 days, save complications. No longer is there the justification for granting of additional or even excessive sick leave to patients post-operatively.
Well, the Ministry of Transport and Works will be starting the Transport Authority Service Integration Pilot Project, or TASI, with 3 routes. And these are the Edie Village, Martins Bay and Sturgis routes. Chairman of the board, Abdul Pandor, says a bus schedule system will be set up to raise the standard of transport on the island.
We could have tried privatization. We could look at nationalization. However, we thought that we'll give a try to what we call service integration. That is to bring in the private sector vehicles into a scheduled service with the transport board. We feel that this is an opportunity to have a good scheduled service. Hence, we embarked on a pilot project.
The service operators will have a special sticker on the vehicles participating in the pilot project. Assistant Planning Director for the Transport Authority, Carolyn Yard, says another change incorporated into the pilot project will be the use of a ticket system.
Tickets will be issued for every category of passenger: paying passengers, school children, the elderly, disabled, and police officers. We believe that this ticketing initiative will help us to more accurately assess the efficacy and efficiency of the project. Transfers, in the event of a breakdown, we anticipate that those will be seamless, and that one will be able to move easily from one type of taxi unit to another without having to pay any additional fare.
A veteran trade unionist is the new head of the National Union of Public Workers. Rosalind Smith, who has 43 years' experience as a trade unionist, has been appointed General Secretary by its National Council. Ms. Smith has been acting since last November, when former General Secretary Dennis Clark left office. When contacted, Ms. Smith says she's heartened by the confidence the Council has placed in her. She said that there is a lot of work to be done, and she'll be making every effort in a speedy manner to resolve internal and external issues facing that union. Well, the sea egg season has not been as profitable as was expected, at least for some. And this from fisherman Junior Herwood, who has been in the industry for over 3 decades. He says the majority of mature sea eggs have already been harvested, which forced him and his crew to return to their main livelihood, spearfishing.
The most they're really worth harvesting. What little was there, they done take already. So just the ends know out there right now. Because right now, as you see that they're diving, the ends, the little young ones know. So if the kilo young ones, I do feeding them up for the next year anyhow.
The fisherman believes that more thought should have been given before making the decision to open the sea egg season. Mr. Herwood adds that only fishermen should have been allowed to register, making it more profitable for them while the season was open.
I have fishermen that made a lot of money this season because this fishing season was rough. And this was the opportunity now to make a little dollar now. And then they want to get a license to Tom, Dick, and Harry. And the fishermen really get profit with it because more land people do more sick than the fishermen, actually.
Well, moved by a call for solutions to the problems facing Barbadian young people, the Youth Affairs Division has been playing its part in rendering some assistance. Several programs and activities have been developed, most of which Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth Ruth Blackman says are grounded in research undertaken by its officers in the field.
These programs had to be of a nature that challenged the young people, stimulated their creativity, and offered a career choice. After all, unemployment continues to be cited as a major challenge confronting many of our young people.
Ms. Blackman says one such program that had the perfect fit was its digital media program, first introduced in 2002. It was developed to expose young people to alternative career choices using film as the gateway. The latest intake in the 6-month program was introduced to the course during a ceremony at the ministry's Sky Mall Haggett Hall headquarters. Summing up the years, Ms. Blackman says the program has surpassed expectations by training hundreds.
This activity has given us entrepreneurs. Indeed, some 20% of those trained now own their own businesses. You will find others in the studios of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Past students have found work with both local and international filmmakers who use Barbados as a location to make their film. Some are into editing, providing such services for both local and overseas media houses.
And head of television here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, Cicely Clark-Richmond, sees the digital media program as timely given advances in that area, and she is encouraging participants to follow through with the program.
Whether you signed up because you have an interest in production, or whether your mother or your grandmother or your sister or your aunt put your name down for the program, I want to say to you, don't give up. When we look around today, an alarming number of young people are trying to make a name for themselves in all the wrong ways. I encourage you to make a name for yourself in a positive way. Why not become the best songman, the best cameraman, the best scriptwriter?
Today marks the 5th anniversary of the death of the late Prime Minister David Thompson, and the Democratic Labour Party is unveiling a memorial wall to mark this occasion this evening. When CBC visited DLP headquarters this afternoon, preparations were ongoing for the event, which is currently underway. General Secretary of the party, George Pilgrim, says the names of 6 party members who have passed will be the first to be placed on that wall. He says the 23rd of October is a day of national and political importance in Barbados and will be recognized by the party every year.
David Thompson's life was a journey of service, and all the people whose names will be mounted on the wall reflect and manifest that value of service to this organization. We think it's important that we say thank you when you're alive, when you passed away. The last 8 months, the party has said thank you to members to its 6th anniversary awards, and this evening will become an annual event in which every year 6 members will have their name mounted on the wall who have served this party with distinction.
And we'll have more news after the break, but first we want to get your take on this question. Should there be another sea egg season next year? You can text yes or no to short code 8111 and we'll have the results for you at the end of our news.
Here comes comes a very special time of the year. You're dreaming of the colors that will be everywhere. Harris is your first choice. Color your Christmas.
Make Harris Paints your first choice this Christmas for a whole lot less. There's 20% off Perma, 25% off kitchen and bathroom, and 30% off all Ultima Plus paints, plus the ever-durable Turbotex Natural for just $98. So dream in color this Christmas with Harris Paints, the Caribbean champions of color.
Harris is your first choice. Color your Christmas.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice every day. Whoa, Fruta.
Luxury is now available and covered in chocolate. Introducing new Choc Ice from Byko, the luxury ice cream treat with real rich chocolate coating. Choc Ice is available island-wide from retail outlets, Byko Mobilers, and the Byko Direct Outlet. So indulge in luxury today with Choc Ice from Byko.
This week on 18 Degrees North, children under 15 are having children.
I just loved having sex with him. He said I was his personal, so he doesn't have to use a condom.
Are our children being robbed of their youth?
Everybody see me looking at me and talking stuff because I'm young. I went through a lot of shame and disgrace.
What's being done to get their lives back on track?
A space is in the school system for them.
On the next episode of 18 Degrees North.
Airing Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on CBC, with a repeat broadcast Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and brought to you by Rainforest Seafoods.
Improving the product offered to Barbadians by the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation is the primary focus for the CBC's Board of Management. The new chairman, Peter Earle, and the new deputy, Tracy Codrington, along with senior management from the CBC and members of the board, made a courtesy call to the General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, at Solidarity House. There, the chairman pointed out that discussions about the vision for CBC have already started, stressing that the board aims to work with management, staff, and the union to ensure that CBC will offer a truly Barbadian product.
We are looking at the whole question of efficiencies. We just reconstituted the committees. We're looking at how we could improve revenues, reduce the deficit for certain, and we're looking at new areas, new revenue streams, and that type of thing. But these are things that we are still discussing at the board level. We want to improve the customer relationships as well. So the number of activities and events that we will be planning in the next year.
Mr. Earle also added that the deficit facing the corporation must be dealt with first before there can be any increase in wages.
The managers are aware of our constraints under which we operate, and with a deficit, I think we need to be mindful of any increases that we are thinking about. But it's a matter of affordability, and I'm certain that the persons who are negotiating will take that into consideration before some final agreement is arrived at.
And Deputy Chair Tracy Codrington says one of the things the board is looking at is new programming.
Our focus will be on new programming to the extent that we can increase local programming and have Barbados reflected more in what we need.
A lawyer who fell ill during a hearing in the No. 5 Supreme Court has died. 56-year-old Alan Carter was at the time appearing on a bail application before Justice Jacqueline Cornelius. The Jamaican national was employed with Pilgrim and Associates. Carter is reported to have passed away last night after being taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital via ambulance. Well, visitors and patients of private wards of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital can sit in a bit more comfort in the waiting area thanks to a donation of cushions from the Lions Club of St. Michael. They were handed over to wards A5 and A6 during a brief ceremony in the presence of Lions members and hospital officials. The donation came as Joy Lashley, Service Activities Chairperson with the Lions Club of St. Michael, saw the need during her stay at the facility.
I happened to be in here last year as a patient and sitting in the waiting area, waiting to be admitted. Had a look at the cushions and realized they were in dire need of repair. And I thought that as one of our projects, that we can do that, you know, and donate them to the hospital.
And Senior Nursing Officer June Robinson welcomed that donation.
We'd like to thank the Lions Club, St. Michael's, for donating the cushions. It will be of benefit to patients that are waiting for admission as well as their relatives when they come waiting in the area. And we thank you very much.
We'll still to come and look at some of the stories making headlines across our region, but first we want to hear from you on this question. Should there be another sea egg season next year? You can text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news. And you can also follow us on Twitter at